House Chair, if the Minister of No Labour and No Employment had any honour, she would have resigned long time ago. But it's clear that she does not. As such, Action SA has repeatedly called on the President to fire the Minister. A year ago, we wrote to the President formally requesting her removal. Yesterday, we wrote again. The message has not changed. The Minister remains in office and South Africans continue to shed hundreds and thousands of jobs. Action SA makes its call for the Minister to be fired on behalf of the 345,000 people who lost their jobs in the first quarter of this year, on behalf of the 30,000 South Africans who lost their job every week, and the 6,000 who lose their jobs every single day. Action SA makes this call for the Minister to be fired on behalf of the 12 million South Africans who are either unemployed or so discouraged that they have given up looking for work altogether. Action SA makes this call for the Minister to be fired on behalf of the 60% of young people aged between 15 and 24 who are unemployed. Action SA makes this call for the Minister to be fired on behalf of the 11% of graduates who cannot find employment in the country they were educated to serve. With the expanded unemployment rate now at a record 43.7%, it is clear that the Minister, her deputies and the GNU as a whole have no coherent plan to address this crisis. Unemployment is not merely an economic statistic, it is a human tragedy. Behind these numbers are 12 million individuals whose dreams, agencies, hope, and often sense of purpose have been eroded. The consequences are severe and far-reaching, what often has been described as psychological murder. Yet for the Minister, her deputies and the GNU cabinet, there appears to be no consequences at all. They continue to earn generous salaries, receive luxurious perks and live a life of comfort, while 12 million South Africans are left in a state of despair. Chairperson, behind this bloodbath in the labour market, there are also grave concerns with the department itself. Chief among them is the rampant corruption and mismanagement within the Compensation Fund and the UIF Fund. These funds exist to protect and support working South Africans at their most vulnerable moments. Instead, they've been hollowed out and treated as slush funds for fraud, maladministration and capture. In the process, the dignity of workers being stripped away by those entrusted to safeguard it. House Chair, the purpose of this vote is to reduce unemployment, poverty and inequality by advancing the objectives of decent work for all through employment creation and enterprise development, the setting and enforcement of labour standards, the protection of workers' rights, the facilitation of equal opportunities and social dialogue, and the provision of social protection. However, based on past performance and the continued inability of the current leadership of this department and the GNU to address the job crisis, it is clear that these objectives will not be achieved. Instead, unemployment, poverty, and inequality will continue to rise. Chairperson, on behalf of the 12 million South Africans who are being economically and psychologically murdered every day, Action SA rejects this budget. And once again, we make a call for the Minister of No Labour and No Employment to be fired. I thank you.
There's no one allowed. Is there one allowed? Why do you have an asylum seeker status? There's no one allowed.
They checked yours.
But there's no one allowed. Is there one allowed? I don't remember seeing anything like that. This one I can tell you now. This one is made from this shop here. This one.
But why is it?
I'm arresting you. We don't have any papers. Immigration is here. If you have any documentation at home, they must put it at the police station. Tell them now. Otherwise, you are going.
They verify the other documents.
They are still verifying. But this one does not have anything. Assam. Where's JPD?